everybody. This is Javier, also known as the Headless ASM Artist, but with the head. Today I'm going to be doing another video. I think I've had a re-upload potentially of one of the videos, but I'm doing this again where it is of baseball cards. This tin is a pretty old tin, and we've had these baseball cards. My older brother is definitely the better card guru, but definitely more so in the Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh kind of side of things. But for whatever reason, we also got gifted a bunch of baseball cards a long time ago when we were little kids, so I think I've made a video with them in the past, but we're going to do another one. There's a lot of cards in here, and we're just gonna go over, see some of the players and organize it into teams. And there'll probably be multiple different videos of me doing this, like part ones, part twos, but they'll be uploaded obviously in separate things. I don't want to necessarily make the video like 30 minutes long, but we'll see how many cards we get to. I might get it cut off at like around 20 though. But without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna open the tin. As you can tell, a little bit of a different background today. Today I am down in my basement, not in my room, for no other reason other than I needed a big table, and I'm currently on our ping pong table in the basement because I'll need a big table to organize this stack. Gosh dang, it's even dusty in the even in the tin itself, but that stack might be big enough itself to be able to organize everything. And so we will do such. But yeah, baseball, one of my favorite sports of all time. Golf, another one of my favorite sports of all time. I love playing them both. I love playing golf, definitely better golf. Soccer, big. Hockey, big sports guy, but baseball and golf are up there. I don't know, man. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I guess when it comes to like watching stuff, huge baseball guy. Love watching baseball. Got some people coming back home from school. You might hear them all the way from upstairs. Hearing the creaking of the people walking. Anyway, let's continue. I think there's a mix of some like non-baseball card. Yeah, like I was gonna say, I saw this one and I had to pop it out because I was like, that's definitely not a baseball card. That is a Daryl Nurse Edmonton Oilers card from the NHL. I love the NHL. Big Blues fan myself though, but yeah. Darnell Nurse. Not Daniel. Darnell Nurse from the Edmonton Oilers. So we're gonna just like slap that over there. Going on to the baseball cards. The first card we have here is Pedro Astrasio of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a nice little smile that he's got going on there. Get it in the light, dadgum. Not going to give too much time to each card considering we have so many to go through, so Los Angeles Dodgers. Wow, that was my phone. If you can hear that, goodness gracious, getting blown up in there. So we're gonna go and organize these by division as well as team. So Los Angeles Dodgers, obviously National League West. So National League West pile over there. Oh wow, look at that, Barry Larkin, shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds. A pretty long time ago. Okay, well, nah, the 80s are pretty long at this point. It's almost 50 years. Barry Larkin is our first National League Central team, the Cincinnati Reds. Cardinals, at the time of recording this, just swept the Cincinnati Reds in a series that they played, which is freaking epic. A pitcher, Larry Anderson of the Houston Astros. This is funny. When he was playing, like when this photo was taken, and like when he was playing, the Astros were actually part of the National League Central, but now this is our first American League team. They are now a part of the American League West. So the American League is going to be on to my right side. I can cover up this box here, the tin, because we will definitely not need any more cards than what we have here. That is for sure. Phil Bradley of the Baltimore Orioles. Another American League team. And so far we've had a new team each time, which has been nice. Eventually I'm sure we're going to get to some copy teams here. Some teams are going to get more than not. But we have Phil Bradley, who plays left field, or did play left field, for the Baltimore Orioles, the American League East. So we're going to put that, bam, over there. Let's see what we got here. Roberto Alomar for the San Diego Padres. National League West. If I said National League for Baltimore, I put it to the right, which is the American League. Rick Aguilera for the Mets, pitcher for the Mets. Feel like I've heard of him. I'm unsure. National League team, National League East, first National League East team for us. For the Mets, lol Mets, because they suck. Fred Manrique of the Texas Rangers. The second Texas team and the second team in the American League West, which is really funny because they both play in Texas and that is a central time zone, but with the way that the divisions have to play out, that's just what happens. We have Rick Keith Mailer. Rick Mailer of the Atlanta Braves, who are currently in the year of 2026 for the MLB season, are one of the best teams in baseball at the time of this recording. And honestly, if I had to pick a team to win the World Series, they are my pick, because at the moment they are playing super well with an injured pitching staff. So they don't even have their top dogs, and yet they still have such a great run differential right now. So I do think that they are going to go on a deep run in the Fall Classic this season. The Fall Classic, also known as the World Series, the Fall Classic. An American League East team, National League East team. I'm so stupid, guys. I'm going to do that all the time. Actually, I like calling the World Series. The World Series is just like what I say most of the time, but if I'm calling it something, I like the Fall Classic. I think it makes a lot more sense. And I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool little nickname for the World Series. Scott Morris. John Scott Morris. His nickname is Jack. I guess his middle name is Jack. I don't know. That's a little funky, but he's playing for the Detroit Tigers, an American League Central team. Let me know in the comments your guys' favorite baseball team, your favorite baseball player, and the reason why you're that team. Whether you like that team, whether you were born in that town, or it was like your dad's favorite team or something like that. Next we have James Elmer Gantner for the Milwaukee Brewers, another National League Central team, our second National League Central team. Milwaukee Brewers. Next we have Marty Barrett, second baseman for the New York Yankees. Oh, I'm so dumb. That says Boston Red Sox. Wow. I'm gonna get a ton of hate for that. That's Boston. Boston Red Sox. Sorry. The lighting was really bad there. Boston Red Sox, not the New York Yankees. Obviously, one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports history. Yankees versus Boston. Both of these, and Marty Barrett with the Red Sox, play in the American League East. So another American League East team over there. We have Sandy Alomar for the Cleveland Indians. At the time, the Cleveland Indians, Chief Wahoo there, now they're called the Cleveland Guardians. I don't mind either name. I like the Guardians. I think it's a fun, cool name. I like the Indians. There was obviously some politics behind it that, you know, I have my own opinions about. But Cleveland Indians or Guardians, it doesn't really matter. Most of the time I just say Cleveland anyway. I just stop it at the city name, even when they were the Indians. And even now when they're the Guardians, and people sometimes don't like it, but Cleveland, Guardians, Indians, whatever. Guardians, Indians. In any capacity, Sandy Alomar, Cleveland Guardians, American League Central. We have two teams in each, and we have Juan Benitez for the Toronto Blue Jays, who came so close to winning the World Series last year. The only non-American team in Major League Baseball at the moment, because the Montreal Expos no longer exist. So Juan Benitez of the Toronto Blue Jays, the American League. Ironic. Well, they're still in the Americas, North America anyway. The American League East. Now we have Steve Balboni of the New York Yankees. What a beautiful name to be on the New York Yankees. Steve Balboni of the New York Yankees, the fourth American League East team that we have. Keith Moreland, an outfielder for the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs. Chicago, Cubs. My enemy of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Chicago Cubs. Our third National League Central team. And look at that, we have another Chicago Cubby, another outfielder, Lloyd McClendon. Mr. Lloyd. So he's going to go in the Cubby Phillies pile. We have Benito Santiago of the Miami Marlins. I love the Miami Marlins. National League East team, who I wish was better because gosh freaking darn it, Miami would be such a great baseball market, man. But they just don't tend to have any super teams out there. Sometimes they can be good. Like this season, they're not horrendously bad, but definitely not a playoff favorite in any capacity. Benito Santiago of the Miami Marlins, at the time Florida Marlins, but now they have the Tampa Bay Rays too. Of the Pittsburgh Pirates, we have Stan Belinda. Look at that dude. Just having a good time playing ball. Our fourth National League Central team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates. Next we have Kirk Gibson of the Detroit Tigers. Let's see, in 1987, he had a .277 batting average in 128 games. He had, 25 doubles, 3 triples, 24 home runs. Dang, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Detroit Tigers. A legend himself, Pete Rose. A lot of controversy with this guy. Betting scandal. There's another scandal. If you know, you know. But one of the best hitters, objectively, of all time, for the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds. The Boston Red Sox very own Mike Greenwell. These are all super old cards, if you can't tell. I don't know, like, any of these people are really. Only a few of the ones that happen to be stars at the time that are still talked about. But Boston Red Sox, nonetheless. Let's see. We have... Wow. This old Mark Langston, and it says of the M's, which is the Seattle Mariners. That is an old logo for Seattle. They play in the American League West. American League West. Mike Aldrete. That's how I would pronounce it anyway. Of the San Francisco Giants. A National League West team. Basically all the National League West teams, minus like 2, are in California, so. National League West. Let's see if I can find some, I'm gonna like actually sort it out here, see if I can get at least one guy for each team. Let's see. Just gonna kind of go through some of the cards, see if I can find people for teams that we haven't done yet. Who's that guy? Don't know who that guy is. Alright, well, we're coming down to 20 minutes, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna get to every single team here. But I do have two more teams. The Keith Atherton of the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins, American League Central. And then Tim Burke of the Montreal Expos, which no longer exist. They are now the Washington Nationals, so considering that Montreal has disbanded and they became the Washington Nationals, I'm going to put them as our Washington Nationals team, and they play in National League East, Washington Nationals, but at the time, the Montreal Expos. The Montreal Expos. Bada bing, bada boom. So that is part 1 of the card organization series. I will probably definitely be filming a part 2 for sure, and uploading that in a little bit. So, baseball season is in full swing. Bada bing, bada boom. God bless, and have a good night.